JS Racing. We're in the game.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
JS.
Welcome in, race fans, to the famous Hickory, where it is the site of the Hyper Summer Series Championship here for Misfit Racing Leagues. These drivers have been racing and clawing at each and every point all season long, and the culmination comes up here this evening to crown a champion in Hickory, North Carolina on the Hyper Summer Series. Welcome in, all you race fans. My name is Scott Shive. I'm alongside Bradley Cooper, who will not only serve as our production drive, I say what? I guess production, I don't even know. Bradley is amazing. He does a lot, and he's going to be talking on the mic tonight as well.
No commentary, I guess, is what you would call it.
Hey, there you go. Production, I guess, is the term. Color commentary as well for Bradley Cooper, but Hickory is the site where we'll crown a champion here this evening. And it's special because, as everybody knows, we were supposed to race at Thompson, but we didn't get to, so it's double points here at Hickory Motor Speedway. The 0.36 tenths of a mile oval, very short, and it's very weird. 14 degrees of turn in the banking and a little bit less in turns 3 and 4. This track is really odd, paved in 1967, and Bradley, this track is, I would say, a historic one at that.
Yeah, you can see the history there on the B-roll on the right-hand side. Names like Josh Berry, all the way back to 1951 that Harry Gant in that list. There's all kinds of history at this place. And, you know, it's one of NASCAR's home tracks. So, you know, you can come here and maybe see a cup driver like Kyle Larson ripping around this place at any given time.
Well, that's exactly right. And, you know, we talked about champions. Let's talk to some of those championship contenders. We're going to pull Corey Bodie in here. And Corey, you got me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Glad to hear you, Corey. Obviously, you're sitting at the top of the standings right now, 32 points above Aaron Johnson, but it is a double points night. So, you know, if someone was to go out and score the maximum, that's 210 points What do you need to do? Because you've been up there contending all season long, but it was only just last race at South Boston where you picked up your first win in the Hyper Summer Series.
Tonight for me is going to be about keeping it clean and staying focused, right? If I can keep the fenders on the car and just do what we've done all year, we should be in a good spot. Just keep up with Aaron. If I can finish with him, then we'll be all right. If I can avoid the messes, that's what you'll see me doing most of the night.
Well, you know, it can get hairy. We've got 17 drivers here this evening. We know you've been a contender all season long. It'll be awesome to get to watch what you're able to put out on track. Good luck tonight, Corey.
Thank you, guys.
So Corey Bodie will be fighting out there. Let's try to bring in Aaron Johnson, who is currently 32 points back from Corey Bodie in the championship contenders. And I've got Aaron Johnson. Aaron, do you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Aaron, it's great to get to talk to you. We haven't gotten to talk too much this season. I was unable to be at your win at Oxford Plains, but we've had 6 different winners so far this season in the Hyper Summer Series. You're obviously one of those, winner at Oxford Plains, and you've been finishing fairly well. I just asked Corey Bodie pretty much the same question. How do you think tonight needs to go for you to be crowned the champion of the Hyper Summer Series?
I just think everything's got to fall in place. I just got to be smart and stay out of trouble, and I think we'll be right there at it. Hopefully a champion tonight. Well, we'll see.
Hickory is a really interesting track. Obviously, turn 1 and 2 is very different from 3 and 4. What does the prep look like for you, and how do you think that will play out in the race this evening?
It just laps, and you just got to be careful here. It's just really loose and around here at this joint. Just you just got to be smooth and consistent, and consistency's going to pay off here trying to win the race and everything.
Consistency is going to be key. Thank you, Aaron Johnson. Good luck tonight as you race for a championship.
I appreciate it.
So Aaron Johnson, he's sound like he was very hopeful, Bradley, but as we know, sometimes it can get dicey, and Hickory is a place that is known for that as well.
Yeah, he just seemed like he was pretty focused in, trying to, figure out what he needs to do to survive this first, 140 laps, because really it all comes down to those last 10. It seems like every race this season we've had a new name. I believe 6 different winners in 6 different races. So, no repeat wins. You want to try to do the best, because based off the statistics, he doesn't get the win tonight. We have a new name.
Oh, you're exactly right, and so that leaves the rest of the very valuable points behind. You can see a lot of these drivers that we didn't get to talk to: Christian Peterson, Aaron Harden, Jake Grout. None of them are out of it at all. You could even say that Matthew Knott could possibly win it, even from 109 back. Alex Grates, he's also in this thing tonight if he is here. I'm seeing his brother, Aiden Grates, but I'm not quite seeing that number 87 that we always see for Alex Grates, but you can see a lot of drivers trying to get that in waiting. And here's the race length, the race analysis here tonight. 150 laps, obviously pit road, 35 miles per hour. If these drivers are going to be able to need that, they'll have 2 tires at their advantage in the pits, and 3 green-white checkered attempts if we have to use that. Obviously, always 100% fuel, and these drivers do race open setups, so there is a bit of advantage to what some of these drivers get to work out within some of their teams and the setup shops that they either work for or buy setups from, and it's always a very competitive field here in the Misfit Racing League and here on the Misfit Touring Series. And I think we're going to get to talk to Aaron Harden. I'm going to see if I can pull him in. There he is. He's waiting in the transfer. And Aaron, you got a copy on me? I think he's deafened right now. We'll see if we'll get to talk to Aaron Harden. He is currently 4th in the championship standings, 416 points total, 49 points back. Aaron, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
There you are, man. Well, you sit 4th right now, and you're just under 59 points out, or 49 points out. But obviously, this is a double points night. What do you think you have to do against some of these other contenders, as they've been so good all season long?
Really just stay alive, try not to wreck, keep it clean.
I
And
think that's the consensus
Yeah.
we've gotten from others, man. It's going to get difficult out there. Obviously, a good starting position for you. And I'm going to look, 12th. What are you going to have to do to come through the field, obviously, because there are 18 cars total, and you'll be starting in the 12th position. What do you think? How does that need to work out for you as a driver?
Really just trying to save my tires, play the strategy. That's about it. I don't know.
Aaron Harden will be trying his best to save tires, his hardest to save tires. Good luck to you tonight, Aaron.
Thank you.
So Aaron Harden, we're working hard to get from the 12th spot, maybe up towards the front through this opening stage. Let's get up towards your starting grid. It's a 6-car invert for the evening. So Cody Dempster, William Hale will start 6th and 5th as Cody Dempster put fast time down to qualify up towards the front. Dustin Smith will be starting in 4th with Justin Mulliken, a great qualifying effort for him, who will be starting 3rd with the invert. Then your front row following the invert, it'll be Jake Grout starting in 2nd and Aaron Johnson currently 2nd in the point standings starting up front on the front row. Then back behind, it's all as normal as it says on the ticker. John Leday starting in 7th with Corey Bodie starting in 8th. Row number 5 will be the 82 of Matthew Knott with the 66 of Robert Taylor to his driver's right. Behind them, row number 6, it'll be Aiden Greats in the 27 with the 85 of Aaron Harden having to work through the field all the way from 12th position. Back in 13th behind these two drivers, Kyle Turzak, he makes his way back into the Misfit Racing League with Jake Sylvia in the 118 starting in 14th. And back behind them, it's Dylan Delaney, Deegan Smith, Tanner Berkey, and Trevor Ward rounding out your 18-car field as drivers get prepared and get ready to take the green flag from Hickory Motor Speedway. Last final thoughts, Bradley, before we get started here on championship evening.
We're getting us back to the statistics. So 7 or 6 different winners and 6 different races. You've got the perfect spot, though, for Aaron Johnson to start this race off. I look to see maybe survival is a lot easier if you're out front and pulled away from this field. It's going to be hard to do, though.
I couldn't agree anymore. No better position than to be starting up front. 150 laps await here as we're ready to decide a champion. Green flag from Hickory Motor Speedway in the Hyper Summer Series. Door to door already as Jake Grout tries to pull alongside the 78 of Johnson from the outside. Will stick the nose in, but he's not going to have it here. Aaron Johnson clear and to the lead. Going to make sure to keep in defense as Jake Grout sends it in a little bit there, towards the rear bumper. Cannot get side by side with the 78.
Oh, problems in the back. That's Mulliken
in the 51 having a problem. He started in the 3rd spot after the invert, and he already had a great qualifying, putting himself in 4th. But the 51 having a quick issue in that Firebird. And that is tough. I literally was just about to go swipe through the field, look who was side by side. I want to say he might have been side by side with Corey Bodie in the number 44. As we take a look at the drivertees.com replay, he's got Cody Dempster to his outside. You can see he's already loose off of turn number 2. Down here into 4, looks like he's just going to lose it on his own. And that can be fairly easy here early, taps the inside wall. But I think that can be a lot easier at this point in the race, Bradley, with the tires being cold and turn 4 being a little bit flatter.
Yeah, and that was another thing that we didn't really touch on in the pre-race. These drivers practiced and qualified in the daylight, and now they're in this late evening. The lights will be on by the time we hit the end of this on the white flag. So weather, track temperature, it's going to keep dropping. It's going to start to provide grip, but this track isn't really broke in yet, and I think the grip's just not there on these cold tires.
Yeah, trying to look track temperature right now, 80 degrees. So that's pretty darn cool. So these drivers, they're able to go and race a lot harder than they were able to in practice and in qualifying. So I think it's going to be these first couple of laps, especially under green flag conditions, will be these drivers really trying to find what is their true new limit, because it is going to be different than it was in qualifying. So they remain the same out front between the first 3, Johnson, Grout, then Smith. Cody Dempster, he's already moved up spots. He started back in 8th. He's up 3 spots. He's in 5th as he'll line up towards the inside after the choose. And it looks like William Hale also moving up. A lot of drivers moving up. Aaron Harden, he's moving up from 12th spot. He's in 8th. So good job from some of these championship contenders to capitalize on others' mistakes. They're going to have to keep doing it all evening long if they want a chance at it. Green flag back in the air from Hickory Motor Speedway.
This time on the restart, Grout got to the outside. He's going to keep hanging up there on the backstretch. He has an opportunity to snag this lead away from Johnson. Going to keep holding up near the wall.
We'll stay with them. We'll stay with this lead, but Dustin Smith, who was running third, got loose off of turn 2. He's dropped back to 6th, now fighting with the 66 of Robert Taylor as they go at it for the lead. 78, Aaron Johnson, 61, Jake Grout, and at the stripe, it was Johnson by just a nose, but Grout really aggressively using the high side, using the momentum, cutting down the track, and you can see that the 78 also carrying the bottom. He's getting below that apron and trying to carry speed. All the while, this is really abusing these two drivers' tires. As you can see, Johnson is loose, snaps loose, and that's Grout to the lead.
Grout got a little loose there on the entry of 3, but that opened up the door for Dempster, and I believe Bodie now going to try to take away for the 3rd spot. So you make one little mistake, you end up losing 3 spots.
Well,
and the
that's
caution's
exactly right.
out.
Caution is out, so Johnson will only lose 2, but those are obviously 2 extremely valuable positions. We're looking here with the 88 of Dylan Delaney, where the issue might have come from. He started back in 14th. And it looked like he might have been gaining some speed as we'll look at the drivertees.com replay. It's a 17 right in front of Trevor Ward. Let's watch along and see what occurred and what went down to bring out our second caution of the evening.
I think it's just another case of lockup, but there's a big checkup ahead of this.
Oh my goodness! There was a lot more to that than we might have originally thought. Looks like John Leday might have been involved in that. Some other cars as well. We'll take a look right along with the 51 of Mulliken. See where this all originated. Oh, it looked like the 85 was loose, and that's what Aaron Harden. That's one of your championship contenders. Looks like he got loose in the middle of the field and caused a huge stack up out of turn 2. Oh yeah, you can see, I think he hit a bump. He's going to take a shot there from the 66 of Robert Taylor, as well as the 22 of John Leday. Doesn't look like he's going to have any significant damage there, Bradley, but it looked like he hit a bump near the exit of turn 2, and the car just snapped loose on him.
Yeah, it's that high transition. You notice a lot of drivers are kind of cutting the exit of turn 2 a lot lower than you would expect, and it's to avoid that bump. But when you're hanging it on the outside like we saw earlier with Grout, you have no choice but to hit that bump, and you just want the wheel as straight as you possibly can have it as you go over that.
Well, and you speak about, drivers trying not to stay loose. Aaron Johnson got loose and overheated those rear tires, and that was the reason being a lot of those drivers were able to get around on the outside. Grout up front, as well as Dempster, who qualified with fast time. Green flag back in the air. Grout's going to get it with a fair amount of ease. Dempster's going to fall into line, and Corey Bodie has jumped up into 3rd. He started down in 8th. Well, he's on the charge. He's your most recent winner as well, and he's your championship leader. He's got everything to lose in this race, and he's not trying to lose it in the mid-pack. Battle for position here between William Hale, Robert Taylor, and the 15 of Turzak, and Hale can make a little contact there with Taylor.
Yeah, this is, hard-fought battles. That's all this is, every single lap. And that's what short track racing boils down to. You can't get away from these guys, and you'll run side by side, burn your stuff up. 66 has heavy fender damage, and he pushes the 51 up the racetrack. I don't think that Mulliken liked that.
No, you saw Mulliken. He almost kind of jumped to the outside there, and then he got loose. They are entering turn number 1. These drivers are trying to enter deep. Wow, look at this absolute snipe between these drivers. It is a slam between all of them. And it's the 82 of Matthew Knott leading the charge as the 66 is trying to get away from it. But Mulliken, Leday, Knott, and Aiden Grates all here in the scuffle.
Oh, and our leader made a mistake here. Dempster got around, but I don't know if Jake Grout made a mistake or if he had some help.
I don't know, but let's take a look back at the replay. Oh, it looks like he made a mistake on his own. That is a big mistake. That is a huge, huge snap, and he was being pressured by the 24. Let's take a look here on the drivertees.com replay. Dempster, he gets into him there, but I don't know if he got to him the second time. A fairly good save, might have some right front damage, but he's going to drop all the way back to 6th. Let's take a look with Cody Dempster to see if there was any contact. There's contact going to be here. But I think maybe that single contact slowly got him loose, and he was just trying to save it, Bradley, but maybe that was the contact that originally got him loose.
Well, it was about the time that you would snap back onto the throttle, and you could see the contact, but then it looked like maybe throttle is what got the car finished off there. I don't think it was the 24's intention to take him out of the lead there at all.
Yeah, no, and it was some big pressure that Dempster was giving to him, and you can just see how on edge these super late models are. A reminder, as we see another fight for the lead, as the fight for lead occurs, a caution occurs as well. It's Dylan Delaney and the 27 of Aiden Grates. We just saw Aiden Grates involved in the skirmish that was going on for the battle for the top 8, but Aiden Grates going to be out of that fight for the moment.
Having some problems getting my replay timing down. They were fighting before that.
Oh, they were. And, I mean, we saw this whole group of drivers really going after it. Watch along with the 27 of Aiden Grates. Looks like he's going to get in the back of Robert Taylor. That's going to cause a domino effect. And the 80 of Delaney has nowhere to go, gets into the back of the 27. And I believe another driver behind them got into Delaney as well. Yeah, it was the 51 of Mulligan. So really just a domino effect as Robert Taylor was checked up on the exit of turn 4. Oh, yeah. Yeah, nowhere to go for those drivers. Nothing you could see. You're right up on the bumper of your next competitor, and bam, he's stomping on the brakes.
Happens quickly at a short track, and you know they're ripping around this place at about 13.5 to 14 seconds. That's cooking.
They really are, and these super late models can turn a quick lap. This is a great time to mention for all of you drivers and race fans interested, the Misfit Touring Series Season 3 as well as the Nashville Fairgrounds. We're going to have the All-American 400 ready on the docket November 1st and 2nd, over $2,000 in payouts over 2 nights. This is a huge event here for the Misfit Racing League. It'll be all broadcasted right here on V-Speed, but make sure that you enter. You can enter, look it all up at racemrl.com for all information. It's 2 excellent nights of racing with over $2,000 to be paid out from the 400-mile race from the Nashville Fairgrounds. Do not miss it, November 1st and 2nd. Back green flag here for the Hyper Summer Series Championship. It is Cody Dempster who put down the quickest time. He is back to the lead after a little bit of a scuffle between him and Jake Grout.
Grout is sitting in the 4th position. He's back on offense now to the outside, got around the 78 of Johnson. He had fallen back to around 6th or 7th position there with that mistake. But thankfully for him, we rack it back up. Everyone's within arm's reach for at least a couple laps.
Well, and these are going to be some of the toughest drivers. Look at Kyle Turzak in the number 15. Really, really strong in the Misfit Touring Series Season 2. He had he had 9 wins. He missed a couple races, though, and was unable to clinch the championship, but he had the most wins of any drivers in the Touring Series, and now he's fighting for the lead in the Super Late Model. In real life, he is a pro late model driver, limited late model driver, and in the sim, he shows his talent as well. Here, he's going for the lead on one of the best, Cody Dempster. He'll take it.
So put Turzak up there, and it's a race recap. We've already had 4 lead changes. Why not another one?
Why not another for Kyle Turzak, who started back in 13th spot, and within 36 laps, he has made it up towards the front. The question will remain for him out front. How much tire did he use working through the field to get up towards this lead? Because if I'm someone thinking anything about tire management, I'm looking to drivers like Dempster, Bodie, and Johnson.
Watching Bodie make a move now for 2nd position. He had the nose on the inside for a moment there. It just looked like when he got back to the throttle, he couldn't keep the car down on the yellow line, so he had to lift out. 24 is giving him a lot of room down there, so I don't know if Corey's just not comfortable running that line, wants to maybe be half a lane up. But I would stop opening up that door if I was Dempster.
I would have to agree with you as well. I think one thing might be for Bodie is that all the drivers racing for this championship said it. Patience is going to be key tonight. With 40 laps complete, we have over 100 remaining. And so Bodie not going to take too many risks early in this race, especially with both the drivers in front of him are not in championship contention. He could finish this race right now where he is at and clinch the championship, so there's no rush to put himself in a bad spot.
So sitting here with our top 5 and a lot of names that are top 5 and the points are up here, it's like pretty much all of it, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Third on back, they are all within championship contention, but it's a little bit of spoilers that are playing into this race. Kyle Terzak, who's back here racing with the league for the first time this summer, and Cody Dempster, who's made in and out starts throughout the summer. And we'll try to go back. Let me find him on my sheet. I can see what he's been doing all this season. Cody Dempster back in 13th overall, and he started in 5 races so far this season, so he really only missed 1, but he's had some tough finishes. He won 1 race. He won at Myrtle Beach, obviously, so he is one of our 6 different winners this season. But besides that, every other finish is outside of the top 15. So he's really had some bad luck this season. As we look back in the rear of the field, this is right along with the 17 of Trevor Ward, who's back in 9th, and it's Aaron Hardin in the 85 right in front, who we saw spin early on, bring out our second caution. Well, he's worked back to that 8th spot, which is his best running position of the day.
Just looking at the off-throttle time through these corners, it reminds me of somewhere like North Wilkesboro, where you're just pretty much coasting. You want to try to brake as late as you can to get that advantage, but it's off-throttle time for most of this corner, and you don't have very much straightaway to get up to speed, so this track's very momentum-based. Can't afford a hiccup in your line at all. You'll give up 2 or 3 tenths quickly.
No, you really can't. This truly is a race of throttle control. You can see, you saw Trevor Ward blink out there a little bit, losing a bit of our camera shot. And internet stability, one of the very important things to have in sim racing. You're going to need that if you want to be able to race well, race hard. I was racing in a race recently, and me and this guy were battling for the lead, and he started to blink out. And when you're that second place driver, or a driver behind your competitors blinking out, you can't. I mean, you can't be aggressive. I mean, me and him were fighting nose to tail, and you can't be aggressive. And so Corey Bodie's going to hope that Dempster's internet it stays well as it has all evening long, as Trevor Ward will try to work out that scenario as he's fighting for a top 10 finishing position. But I was talking about Dempster earlier, and it's just been a really tough season here in the Hyper Summer Series. He got that win, obviously, in Myrtle Beach, but every finish outside of that was outside of the top 15. And I think that really proves why a lot of our drivers that are battling for this championship said they need to survive and be patient, because it is so easy to be out of this race and out of contention.
Yeah, nothing's a guarantee. You even have moments like right now where, you know, Kyle Terzak, he's leading by 3 or 4 tenths, but they come up on a lap car, the 66 of Robert Taylor right there. If Taylor makes a mistake in front of him, it's something beyond your control, and there's so many variables. You can't expect to come in here after, you know, hours of practice and just run a perfect race. It never happens.
Well, it's why these race car drivers have to be vigilant. They have to be ready, and they have to be able to do what is necessary to be able to survive, get to the end, and fight for the win. As we see, oh, look at these awesome camera shots presented by Dougie Beard. We love to be able to see it. We love all that y'all get to work with in production, because, by the way, viewers, it's not easy what Bradley and a lot of our other producers here at V-Speed have to do. It is a difficult job, and they get to provide you with all of this awesome racing action from the Misfit Racing League here in the Hyper Summer Series. It's always coming to you here on V-Speed. I was talking about the Touring Series earlier as we get this battle for second. Registration opens for the Touring Series on October 1st, and the first race of the season is November 8th at 5 Flags. And a lot of these drivers you're seeing right now will be racing in it. Corey Bodie, Cody Dempster, 2 of those drivers as they battle it out here for second spot at Hickory on championship night for the Hyper Summer Series.
Corey Bodie has been working the 24 for about 12 to 15 laps now and still can't get by him. The 24's left that inside line open for him, just teasing him, taunting him, hey, you can come down here, but I know as soon as you do, I'm going to pinch you down on the exit of these corners and you're not getting by.
Well, you know, obviously a lot of tracks across I guess the East are very, very different, especially Hickory and the one I'm about to relate it to, South Boston Speedway. The two things I'll give one. Whoa, Bodie sends it heavily and hard into turn number 3, slides it, uses the 24 to kind of get himself right. That's going to heat up his tires, and his car is not going to like that. But he's still going to be able to remain to the inside. But I'm going to compare Hickory and South Boston, that they have 2 different racing lines. You see Dempster that whole time able to hold off the 44 by using that upper groove to pinch him down low and keep him from gaining momentum off of the corner. And it's exactly what has put the 44 in this position and under attack from the 78. What I was going to say to that was Corey Bodie won the race at South Boston Speedway, but it seems like he's having a little bit more trouble here at Hickory, or like we said earlier, could be being just a bit more patient. He's going to tuck into line and lose a spot out of that.
When you have 2 different approaches to each side of this racetrack, you have less banking there in 3 and 4, and so that can kind of mess with you. I think, you know, backstretch is kind of downhill as well, and it makes it difficult to judge your entry speeds, and you got shallower banking. You can't approach this corner the same way you did 1 and 2. That's the character of this racetrack. That's why, you know, we see all these cookie cutter template tracks, Scott, in the NASCAR realm, but these tracks have that character. They're kind of grit, and they've built an essence. You know, paving a racetrack doesn't make it a racetrack. These tracks have soul.
Well, and you know, mentioning that's why we see these are the places and the battlegrounds that future drivers are developed, because they have those small characteristics that you have to learn and be ready for and be able to take anything that comes at you at any singular moment, because that's what racing is. I mean, you never know, like you said earlier, when a driver's going to make a mistake, when there's going to be a bump that you've never seen before, or who knows. There are so many different variables when it comes to auto racing, especially stock car short track racing, even in the sim. You know, we talk about this all the time and how it relates to real life, but I mean, these sim tracks, as everybody knows with iRacing, are meticulously scanned and as close to the real life product as possible. And so these drivers really have a lot to do in the race seat. I mean, we saw earlier on, we were driving with Trevor Ward, how much counter steer he was putting into the wheel off the corner, because these super late models, they like to jump loose. We saw it earlier, Bradley.
Yeah, you see it here on the gyro cam on that helmet camera, and yeah, you're kind of steering to the left to go into the entry of the corner. Comparatively, that's throttle. Look at this. He's sliding into the corner.
I mean, he's barely putting wheel to the left. Right here, he's going to counter steer a lot. That's a lot of wheel to the right. He'll put his entry here right into the center is when he'll turn left the most. He's going to go back to the right here, counter steering, trying to get a lot of power down and make sure the car doesn't snap out to the right, so you keep those rear tires up under them. 75 laps complete, on to lap number 76. We are halfway through this race. Kyle Turzak remains in the lead. Cody Dempster, Aaron Johnson, the top 3. Then it is Corey Bodie and Jake Grout all in the top 5. And 3rd through 5th, Johnson, Bodie, and Grout are all 3 of those championship contenders.
I'm going to bring those points back up on the screen and just to give you an idea of what's going on. But Turzak continuing to lead these laps, he could be taking away bonus points for somebody that's in this championship hope. And if he leads the vast majority, that's, you know, I think it's 3 bonus points. Was that correct, Scott? I know double points kind of mess with things, but
yes, I think it's. I don't know if they're doubling. I don't know if they're doubling the bonus points. I know they're doubling the race points. So bonus points, I believe, say single, but it is 1 point for leading the most laps. It's a point for leading a lap. It is also a point for winning. It's 2 points for winning the race itself. But to your mention and to your point, the more laps that Turzak leads, it's the more being taken away from these championship contenders, and it could come down to just that 1 point if the scenario arises.
just inside the top 10 here. John Leday makes a little bit of a mistake coming off of turn 4. He's going to end up losing 2 spots. So Mulligan and Trevor Ward will end up going by. It's back 3 positions now for the 22. But Matthew Knott, Dylan Delaney, these guys way off the pace here. The 88 is in no man's land. He's on the other side of the racetrack by himself right now.
Yeah, Dylan Delaney already been involved in 2 incidents, and there's no faster pairs in these super late models, so you got to wonder what damage he has accrued in those 2 incidents and how much it's put him off the pace here in this race at Hickory, race number 7 of the Hyper Summer Series, where we're prepared to crown a champion. Kyle Terzak, I've got to say, I can't say this surprises me that much after what he did in this past series with the Misfit Touring Series. This is a guy, if he's able to race full-time in the Misfit Touring Series this upcoming Season 3, he will absolutely be a threat for this championship. He's just 15 years old, and he is a really, really fast kid.
Sounds like he's got a pretty bright future ahead of him, especially when you start that young at anything. You get good at it quickly. Man, I wish I had that adaptability still, Scott. I've lost that.
I'd love to say that I've still got it. I'm about to turn 22. I feel still fairly young, but being a senior in college has definitely made me feel old. I guess I gotta wait really until I get a real job, and then I'll really feel old.
I've never wanted to be the guy that says wait till you're my age, but there you go. I said it.
See, that's such a contradictory statement.
Right?
I don't want to say it, but let me say it.
Yep.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Corey Bodie continuing to run in 4th, and he's dropped back quite a ways. 0.7 of a second back from the 78 of Aaron Johnson. All the while, Jake Grout right up towards his rear bumper, just 0.2 of a second separate these two as they battle for 4th. So I gotta wonder if Corey Bodie, maybe he's having a little bit of trouble with Hickory and the super late model, or if maybe he's been saving this whole time and is waiting. But I'm really not sure right now, because right now for Terzak and for Johnson, for Dempster, it's about a 5 to 0.7 of a second gap between all 4 of them.
Yeah, I don't know that he's so much in save mode now. I think he's in recovery mode. He worked on Dempster for, like you said, 15, 20 laps, and once he started to go to the inside, I think he burned his stuff up. And then Aaron Johnson, he wasn't able to hold him off at all. It was within 2 laps, I think, that the 78 passed him pretty easily. So now I think he's just trying to salvage the tires. He's burned the right rear off of this thing, and he doesn't want to lose any more. When you start hemorrhaging spots like that, and you've already had trouble passing one guy, you don't want to have to go through that again with 4 or 5 others.
Yeah, it is absolutely going to be difficult for Corey Bodie. Probably going to need a caution here, and you got to wonder if there's a caution, would they let their tires just cool down and go with that? Or if maybe some might take a chance or an opportunity to put on fresh tires, because these drivers do have 2 waiting in the pits if we do get a late race caution. 95 laps complete, the 150 lap race, and Kyle Terzak continues to impress. And Cody Dempster, it's Aaron Johnson in front of Corey Bodie right now in the battle between 3rd and 4th. But I think right now, if we still finish the way we were, it would still be Bodie with the championship, because if we're thinking about it, with double points, every position is worth 6 spots. So it would have to be, I think it would have to be 6 spots or more in between these 2 drivers that the championship might swing.
And with double points, I even said it there in the pre-race when we were talking about how this was going to work, and I just said, good luck figuring that all out. So hopefully you know what you're talking about, because I can't confirm any of that information.
Well, you know, I've got to say, math was never one of my strong suits, but I've always been decent at it when it comes to simple addition and subtraction, and maybe a little multiplication and division. Don't push my luck past that.
Wow, that was the 82.
Guarantee. Whoa!
Matthew
Golly. Matthew Knott was trying to hold on to that one.
Let's back this up a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a lap down. He's having some struggles, but the 62 got to his inside, and then he just stepped out, and they rode each other's doors through the exit.
Oh my goodness, that was 8 wheels are better than 4. If you ever wanted to know what that means, That's exactly what it meant. It was a good move for the 62 of William Hale. I can't say if it was a good move. It worked out for the 62 of William Hale, who is in 6th position. Has had a fairly decent run as Jake Grout here trying to work on Corey Bodie. Grout has had a fairly decent season. Not the best season for Grout, probably would have won a little bit better. Has a couple of 1 second place finishes, a couple top 5s, but definitely wanted a little bit better for this season. But it's put him within the championship reach. He's only 60 points out, but again, I believe at this point Dempster or Johnson and all of them and Bodie would have to have a crash or something like that to finish towards the rear of this field. But like we said, Bodie, those tires are probably chewed up by this point.
Well, the other part of this race that we didn't really touch on yet, now we're past that transition of, okay, we're on warm, used up stuff. Who's going to drive the best in that situation? So Corey Bodie seems to strive once these cars get uncontrollably loose. I think he's struggling a little bit right now. He's used up his stuff more than he probably intended to. And this might be where Kyle Terzak starts to get reeled in by Dempster. I don't know exactly what the window is, but 100% fuel, these drivers, no reason they can't go all the way through this thing.
Yeah, well, and I think they'll absolutely make it all the way. And I absolutely fully agree with what you said about Bodie being able to be one of the best to nurse his race car home, to be able to control these race cars when they get to a point of uncontrollability. But I think with him using his stuff up earlier, I think he really burned his right front off. You know, we see a lot of drivers when they try to peek to the inside for so long like he did, it's really, really tough on that right front. So he really is probably off the throttle for a long time through these corners as the race car has gotten tighter and tighter with less grip towards the right front area. And now it's a 1.1 second lead for Kyle Terzak as well. So if there's nothing different between these, with 40 laps to go for Terzak, he has run a great race so far, back from 13th all the way to 1st, and he is proving that he's not just winning by a whim if he's going to win.
Yeah, 1.3 seconds at a 0.3 mile racetrack. That's half a lap almost.
Exactly. And Kyle Terzak, we'll get to look at him some more. It's also been a great race for Cody Dempster, qualified up towards the front. He qualified in the front, but was relegated back to the 6th spot after the invert, but worked his way back up towards 2nd, and that's where he's been living pretty much for the rest of this race. It looks like now Jake Grout is looking to make a move on the inside of Bodie. Took a little bit of a peek that time entering turns number 3. So Jake Grout is looking for a moment to go as, wow, he's going to close in on the back bumper off of 2. Not going to be close enough here in 3 and 4 this time. And this is a time, Bradley, as a driver, you start to try to set up the time to make a pass. He enters higher here. He's going to try to cut down low, but doesn't look like he has the center speed.
Again, it goes back to each corner on this track is different, and maybe he favors 1 and 2 better than 3 and 4. But there, coming out of 4, got onto the throttle a little bit too soon and brushes the outside wall. He might do it again here out of 2. Out of 4 was not good for him, though.
He kept it off there, and it's really easy to get into the wall here off of turn 4. And like we've said all season long with these super late models, it's so easy. Once that wall sucks you in, it's almost like a magnet, and you truly can't get off it. A battle behind these two drivers is William Hale and Aaron Harden. He's also in this fight for the championship as he battles with the 62 of Hale. But Harden, we saw him earlier go for a spin as he goes for a little bit of a slide right there for just a moment. Has to correct it and gonna lose some ground. Lost about 2/10.
So these guys trying to drive it like it's still got dirt from the 50s.
I can tell you it's not going to work well for them in that regard in this modern day of the racetrack for Hickory Motor Speedway. Hadn't been dirt since 1966, so they might need to get in the teleporter, or the time machine if they want to race on dirt here.
Well, that's where we've been investing all of our earnings here at V Speed, trying to get the V Speed time machine.
Oh, well, look, I would also love to throw in some hard-earned cash on the V-Speed time machine what it would be like to go back to some of these historic tracks and see what the racing like was back in the day. Bowman Gray, South Boston Speedway, places here like Hickory. I mean, I can't even imagine. You know, I work at South Boston Speedway and I see all the old pictures, and it's just so cool. We have someone who works at the track, and he was there. He was there on opening day in 1957 with South Boston and saw the very first race.
That guy's got some stories. You should hang out with him. He'll tell you
I
things that you couldn't find in a book or in a museum. He's no stuff.
People ask me why I love racing, and it's the people. At the end of the day, there's nothing better than the racing community, and all these drivers on the sim or in person, no matter what, can absolutely agree with you. And they're the 27 gonna have a problem. Aiden Greats, what a save!
I think he was trying to get
for sure.
I think he was trying to get out of their way, but the closing speed was so fast coming off of 4. We'll back this up one time. Watch right here. He's trying to stay up out of their way, and the 61 just says, no, that's not fast enough, Aiden.
Yeah, well, Grout, you know, in that battle with the 44 of Corey Bodie, he needs every millisecond that he can get, and we'll ride along with him to see how this occurred. Aiden Greats here up off of 4. See that he's going to try to maybe cut down to the inside here. I don't know. I looked like there for a second the 61 of Grout slowed down, that maybe he thought that Greats was going to come down, and once he decided he didn't, he was like, I got no more time for this.
When Grout rather couldn't really afford to lift on the exit of that corner, that would have allowed William Hale right on by. So, you know, if you're the 61, you're juggling the fact that you've got 2 drivers right on your door on the back porch, and then someone's flying a kite in your front yard.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. I mean, and you see now what this did to our battle for 4th. Jake Grout now 0.5 of a second behind Corey Bodie. So unless he can make a miraculous comeback, he might be out of that fight for the top 4. Now he's really going to have to defend against the 62 of William Hale and the 85 of Aaron Hardin, because they are right there, and they would love a top 5 finish this evening.
Hardin has been consistent. I've liked the lap times that I've seen from this car. He's sitting right there at that 14.5 second. He's not pushing the car. He's not forcing the issue. He's been very, very patient with the 62. But on the flip side of that, we're getting down to under 20 to go. You have to start making moves. How long do you want to wait here if you're Hardin to move the 62 out of the way?
Well, and I was going to say, like, even if Hardin may not win the championship tonight, there are still payouts here within the Hyper Summer Series, over $500 in payouts to the top 5 and more. And so each spot is worth some money. And so you got to think about Hardin right now. Well, you know, what could these points be? Because each spot now worth 6 points rather than the regular 3. So when does the 85 possibly get aggressive and want to move into the 6th spot?
It's right there in front of him. It's been there for the last 35, 40 laps. He's been within a 10. I think he's going to have to use some of that chrome. It's been so difficult to pass.
Oh,
here he's going to do it.
Maybe, there it is. Maybe a little bit of a tap to the 62. Hardin will go low, or excuse me, the Hale will go low to defend. Hardin going to get the quarter panel on the outside of William Hale. Try to cross up, and he's going to get
up in
loose.
front of him.
He's going to get loose on the entry to 1. It's going to slow down Hardin as well. Hardin will use the bumper once again here in 3 and 4. He slips to the inside. They're going to be side by side out of turn number 4. And this is the door. This is the chance. It's the opening for Hardin.
You got to take full advantage of it here. 12 to go.
He gets loose, Bradley.
Very loose down on the bottom of this racetrack. You've seen everyone kind of migrate that half a lane up from the bottom. And when you're forced down there and not familiar with how the track has changed, and we went up about 6 degrees since this race started, it's getting slick down here.
Well, and now you can see as well, 62 starting to defend, use that high line to hold off the 85, pinch off his exit, and not allow him to carry that speed. You see the 85 really spins it in. They're going to make contact.
A little touch, another door. And
wow,
Hardin.
More big contact.
Hardin had the wheel cranked 90 degrees to the right there.
I think he knows now that he's faster than the 62. and he's ready to go by.
Yeah, I think he's known that for a few laps. It's just where do you go every time you get to the inside?
Look at this, right along with him right here. I think the 5085 Harden gets the greatest speed right there through the center of 1 and 2. That's his biggest gain on the 62 of Hale. He's going to send it in. What a slide down on the inside is Harden, but this is his worst spot on exit. He's got to be able to carry and hold the 62 on the outside here into turn 2.
You can see him using that left front down on the apron to help that car rotate as well. But if he just learned 3 and 4 a little bit better, I think he would have completed this pass. He seems to be struggling on the back half of the track.
You see that carry right there through the center of 1 and 2, his best spot on the racetrack, but he's not able to carry that speed all the way around the racetrack, not enough to get a significant lead. As we check back in with our leaders, as we're going to hit 4 to go across the line this time, it's been Terzak who has been dominating since our last restart over 100 laps ago. He's led 112 laps to this point. Terzak leading by 1.2 seconds, or excuse me, 2.2 seconds.
And that's not going to come down anytime soon. It's going to take a caution to get these guys even in the same zip code. He's ready to go put it on the hauler.
Well, and Terzak would love to stay clean and green here. No better thought for him as we get 2 remaining across the stripe this time by. The top 5 remain the same. Last time we looked, Terzak, Dempster, Johnson, Bodie, and Grout, and then it's Hale and Harden battling for the 6th position. But across the line, this time it's 1 to go for Kyle Terzak. He leads by 2 seconds. He hasn't raced for the Misfit Racing League in a couple of months, and the last time he did, he won. Well, he's going to step back into victory lane here on Hyper Summer Series Championship night. Kyle Terzak, winner at Hickory Motor Speedway, and as Corey Bodie crosses the line in 4th spot, the number 44, the champion of the Hyper Summer Series season number 2, Corey Bodie takes it away. He finished 1 spot behind his closest championship rival, the 78 of Aaron Johnson, but that 1 spot of a difference, those 6 points weren't going to be enough for Aaron Johnson to eclipse the championship over the 44. So unofficially, it will be the 44 of Corey Bodie picking up the championship. And he will be added to the championship names here on the Misfit Racing League as Kyle Terzak pulls it into victory lane. What a race. And Bradley, I think we got treated to an excellent one. We had a couple cautions early on, but from there and on, it was clean green flag racing.
Yeah, a great show. And, you know, it's good to see that after they kind of worked out the kinks, they were able to clean it up and you gave everybody a fair opportunity. It wasn't a race of, you know, caution after caution and guys fighting amongst themselves for, you know, a 5th place position. There was a lot of organic racing that happened, and we got to prove the point of, you know, Corey Bodie. Excellent job at keeping that car, salvaging the day, even though he couldn't make passes.
I have to absolutely agree. Knew what he needed to do to win this championship. Would have wanted to win the race, but knew at the end of the day, he didn't have to win the championship and clinch it for himself, as he'll do some championship-style burnouts. We're going to send you to a quick commercial break, and we'll get you back with the final results, as well as the interviews from our top 3 and possibly our unofficial champion.
JS Racing. We're in the game.
What an exhilarating night from Hickory Motor Speedway. We've gotten to crown champions and we've gotten new winners. 7 different winners this year through all 7 races for the Hyper Summer Series season number 2. It's been an excellent season. Let's get you the results here from the race at Hickory Motor Speedway. Kyle Terzak had not raced in quite a while, and he started back in 13th spot, but he comes out the winner by 2.7 seconds over second place Cody Dempster. It's Aaron Johnson who was just short of the championship to the 4th place driver of Corey Bodie. Back in 5th, it was Jake Grout in the 61 who battled with pretty much everybody all night long and had a great end of the night to finish out top 5. Then it was William Hale, Aaron Harden absolutely putting on an excellent battle towards the end of the waning laps, and they finished 6th and 7th. 8th will be John Leday, 9th Justin Mulligan, and rounding out the top 10, then it's Trevor Ward. Back in 11th, this 82 of Matthew Knott, and the 88 of Dylan Delaney, who seemed like he was off the pace for most of the night, was able to come up with a 12th spot. Aiden Grates finishes in 13th, then 14th Robert Taylor, 15th Dustin Smith, 16th Jake Sylvia, and then 2 drivers that did not make the start, Deegan Smith and Tanner Berge. So 15 drivers made the race at the end of the evening, but let's get to talk with the winner, and his name is Kyle Terzak. I haven't got to talk to Kyle Terzak since I saw him in person at the Thunderwood Harley-Davidson 200, but no better way to be talking to you again, Kyle, than in Victory Lane here for the Misfit Racing League.
Yeah, it was a pretty hard race, but, I just drove through the field pretty quickly, and everybody was being cautious, but I had nothing to lose, so I just drove my guts out at the beginning, get to the lead, and I knew that I just had to be really consistent, the same for Cody, because I know Cody had a burst of, really fast laps, and then his right rear would eventually get hot, and I just had to capitalize on that, which I did.
Well, Kyle, take me through some of that opening portions of you working through the field, because we saw a lot of people, and it wasn't the easiest to get. We saw some drivers gain, 3-4 positions, but from 13th to 1st, I want to hear how you did that.
Yeah, honestly, I just had to see where everybody was. I saw on the initial start, I was kind of stuck, and then I got cleared down, and I passed a couple cars on the bottom, and after that, we had a huge wreck in front of me, and it was Leday and all those people in front of me, and I got me up to 5th, and Hale let me go right there because he was a bit loose, so thank you to him. And then we had that restart. I was in 4th, and Dempster chose the top, and I know that sometimes those restarts could be tricky here, and Corey spun his tires, and I was in 2nd, and then immediately after, like a lap later, Cody got loose on the bottom, and I was able to get around him.
Well, Kyle, after that, it was absolutely dominating. 2.7 seconds you take the lead by. I've got to ask, will you be racing in the Touring Series this upcoming season at the beginning of November?
Oh, absolutely. I had a really good season there last time, with the 10 victories, I think it was 10 or 11, and, messing out of the championship, but, we had a really good season, and I'm a lot better in late model stock cars, so definitely going to go over there, have some fun, maybe get a championship too.
Well, I was a little bit short. To my memory, I was thinking it was 9, but I think we're right around the ballpark. It was 9, 10, or 11, and it was absolutely awesome to get to watch you. We'll be excited to see you back here on the Misfit Racing League, and hopefully you'll also be competing in the All-American 400. But anyone you'd like to thank tonight, Kyle, after the win?
Yeah, I want to thank Adams for putting this on. It's been a long season for everybody here, and I want to thank everybody for showing up. Congratulations to Corey for the title. He's been trying his hardest out here, and he showed it. He's been putting in the work, and I want to thank you guys for the broadcast, RCAM Shark Shop for everything to do for me. Corey Boyer Designs for the nice looking 15 here. I want to thank Kyle Terzak yeah, myself, Terzak Racing on Facebook. Everybody's watching back home, and Hot Shot Photography.
Well, congratulations, man. Go celebrate this win. I know you've earned it.
Thank you, Scott.
Kyle Terzak capping off the Hyper Summer Series in his first start with a win and finishing runner-up at Cody Dempster. And Bradley Cooper is going to get to talk with Cody.
Yeah, and I don't know if you can top the interview we just had. I've never heard a guy thank himself before, so a little bit of a Ricky Bobby-esque there in that one. But Cody, you had the lead for a little bit here tonight. You led 15 laps. It was just a slight mistake and some wheel spin, maybe coming off the corner. I know it was difficult on the different lines, especially early in this race, but you're able to come up with a podium nonetheless. And the car looked fast. What did you need to get the win here and seal the deal?
A little entry security. That was what I was fighting that whole time. That's what let Turzak get to me. I just needed entry security. It was good most of the time, but it would step out and you'd lose a couple tenths. That's really what it comes down to. Is it was pretty good. I couldn't really run the bottom. I was a little too tight to run the bottom, but rolling the top, it was really, really good because I was pretty much the only car up there, so the track was cooler up there. Just needed a little more security to keep it in line.
Yeah, you looked a lot more comfortable about half a lane up from that bottom, and you'd opened up the door for Corey Bodie there a couple times, not able to complete that pass. So, was that your preferred line in practice, or did that change because of, maybe the track conditions? We went to night compared to when we were, 4:00 in the afternoon for qualifying.
Honestly, that's where it ended up feeling the best. What little practice I had, I ran the bottom. I didn't get as much testing in as I would have liked. We had a family outing today and just got home a little later and didn't get really all that much testing. So I ran the bottom. I ran the normal line that you would normally run, and then come race time, started 6 with the invert. And just rolled the top. I was like, okay, this is pretty good up here, and just kind of kept plucking away with it at the top, and that's where the car felt the best. It never really wavered as bad up there, and I even tried adventuring up to the third groove just to see what it had, and it wasn't terrible, but it was just too big of an arc to compete with the bottom.
Right on, and that makes sense. I mean, we're even watching it right here in the replay, what you're describing. You're dead center through 1 and 2, and you're able to kind of pull away from Aaron Johnson and Corey Bodie there towards the end. But 2.5 seconds, it seems like it's not much, but at this racetrack, that's almost half a lap. And, does it hypnotize you maybe from your discipline of, okay, this guy's pulling away. Do I need to change what I'm doing?
It does. You always are kind of exploring, adventuring a little bit. When Turzak got by me, I just tried to mimic what he was doing and see what my car would do behind him, just trying to mimic. And then I kind of started exploring around a little bit, and I said, you know what? Maybe there's a chance that this thing goes to the end. So I ended up, I think for about 20 or 30 laps, I went to the bottom like a half groove up, probably from like lap 65 to 90 or so, just to see, try and save a little tire, maybe have a comeback at Turzak. And I did run him down a little bit until I got the right rear 2 pissed off. And that's all she wrote. He started clicking really good laps again.
Well, we have one more question for you here up in the broadcast booth. Who put this car on the podium here tonight, Cody?
All the Cottle chassis guys. I mean, Josh Cottle, he built a really, really good piece. Him and Justin were the ones that tested it and built it. And I can't thank them, for picking up my slack for not being there to test with them. I made a couple tweaks just to fit my driving style a little bit better, but they did a majority of the work and a majority of the hardship just to make it good.
Cody Dempster, second place in the final race of the Hyper Summer Series. We appreciate you coming up here. And hopefully we get to see you over at the touring series.
They'll have a great weekend.
Cody Dempster.
I've actually called him that one time.
Yeah.
I think it was either in an interview or in the race, because I looked at his Discord name and it said Cody Dempster. And I think he finished top 3 at the end. And I was like, Cody, I'm so sorry. So we'll get to talk with our third place driver, and that is Aaron Johnson. He finishes 3rd in the race this evening, and he finishes 2nd overall in the championship. Aaron, what more did you need tonight? We saw you start up front, but you couldn't quite hang on to it and stick to it up front.
I just needed the clean air. If this car would have just stayed with me the whole race, I think we would have been fine. But I finished in 2nd. The Corey and the points deal is I'm happy with it. I'd rather him win it than somebody else. But I just needed a little bit more grip, maybe, and maybe a caution. and I probably would have run right back up in the front.
Yeah, it was one of the longest green flag runs that we saw all season long. And I think we saw a lot of drivers using, they were heavy on the brakes, and that probably did not help with the heat in those tires.
No, not at all. Once I saw a bunch of rotors just glowing, so I know that everyone was hard on the brakes and just trying to get the car to slow down enough so it doesn't break loose or anything like that.
What did it mean to you, Aaron, to come in this season in the Hyper Summer Series with the Misfit Racing League and come up and run towards the front? You know, you won at Oxford Plains. What did it mean to you to come in with some tough drivers, the race here in the Misfit Racing League, and say, hey, I want to compete too, and I can compete at this level?
Well, I'll put myself at a high standard. Just I know I can compete with all these guys. Um, I try. I'm very hard on myself on trying to win all these races. That every race that I'm in, I just try to go out and win them. If not, I'm just mad at myself, saying what could I have done differently. But I can't do it without all the help I had to get to where I'm at. With
Well, shout them out.
I got with Ryan Coon, Motorsports, Corey Bodie, William Hale, all them guys, man. I can't I can't thank them enough for giving me a good piece all season long, and maybe hopefully here soon we'll turn it over, maybe going into Sarah and try to go win a couple races there.
Well, it's been great to watch you fight, Aaron, and appreciate you racing with us all this season long in the Hyper Summer Series. Good luck to you in all your future endeavors.
I appreciate it, guys.
Aaron Johnson finishes third on the evening, second in the championship overall, and will pull in your unofficial champion, Corey Bodie. He has done it. He won that race all season long. He won the one race, but Corey, you were up front all season long. We got to talk to you after South Boston about what that race meant, and now what does it mean to eclipse and put a stamp on this championship?
It's really nice just being consistent and being able to race against level-headed teammates and some great friends like Aaron here. Um, when we talk every single day and be able to race side by side with each other and not even as much as trade paint really. And it's really nice, when you show up week in and week out and you turn a bunch of laps and try to find something new and just help each other out and mostly have a good time. So it was a lot of fun this year being able to test and try and use this as not necessarily as a crutch, but as a catapult into the Sarah Super Series season coming up, about to start, and kind of understand where our program was there.
Well, and Corey, you talk about this race specifically as well as the whole season. Let's dial into this race from Hickory. You were battling, trying to work towards the front after an 8th place qualifying spot. And once you got up to Cody Dempster, it got a little bit tough as he was holding you off on the outside. Do you think the exchange between him and you burned up your right front and allowed you or disallowed you to be able to work through the field a little bit later? Because you're obviously, and we've seen all season long, you're one of the drivers that really has the best handle on these race cars, especially as they wear and get looser.
Yeah, so we set these cars up so much on edge, right? So we're most of the time on the right rear, and we were so on edge. But when I got to Cody, the track had so much grip in it. The top was it was a viable option. And being so free and having to turn it down on the straightaway, it just superheated the right rear tire. And with racing Aaron and with a championship in mind, there's no point in risking using him up and him spinning out and then him and I go to the rear. So it's just kind of one of those, think about it, be complacent, thankful for where you're at, take them as you can get them, and go about your day.
Yeah, well, that's what I figured. I saw you sitting there, and I'm like, he knows that he doesn't have to win this race to win the championship. He just has to finish a certain amount of points, even behind Aaron Johnson and some of the others, and Christian Peterson and those who did not make the start. So, Corey, is there anyone you'd like to thank after this long but good season?
Yeah, absolutely. I first off got to thank Kyle Adams for putting all this together and putting on an awesome season. Thank you guys for all the wonderful broadcast all year. You guys have done a really great job. I got to thank RKM Setup Shop. Ryan Kuhn really gives us some solid bases. The Bald Bandits Racing, Shift Face Motorsports, Aaron, William Hale, Justin Crow, my buddy Gene. We've faced some challenges this season with everybody kind of losing some close members, and it's definitely been a lot of fun. But thankful for all the opportunities and to be able to finally put the nail in the coffin tonight and call it done.
Well, glad to get to see you put that nail in the coffin and claim yourself as a champion. And with the news and the word from Kyle Adams, you are now officially the champion here of the Hyper Summer Series Season 2. So congratulations on that official championship.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Corey Bodie, the champion of the Hyper Summer Series. And you see up on your screen the final points totals after the double points from this evening and all the bonus points. You can see Aaron Johnson, Jake Kraut, Aaron Harden, Matthew Knott, the top 5 within the championship. And it was John Leday, Christian Peterson, Cody Dempster, William Hale, and Justin Mulliken, the top 10 for the Hyper Summer Series. Bradley, I think it got off to a little bit of a rough start. A lot of these drivers at the Misfit Racing League, they can get a little hot in the seats, but I think nonetheless you're able to wrap them in. And Kyle Adams and all the gang, everyone of the owners with the league said, hey, we're going to race like this, and how we put on tonight. And I would say for the rest of the races throughout the Hyper Summer Series.
Well, I know I didn't work really hard on this graphic here, but it's actually a little bit inaccurate. The names, I believe, if I check through really quickly, stayed the same. I don't think anyone changed position, but the points totals, the numbers changed a little bit. But yeah, it was incredible to watch. I'm glad we had talked a little bit there during that commercial break. I'm glad that this race went green and it was organic. We didn't have anybody wrecking out some of these guys that had a championship hope. Corey Bodie running in fourth, couldn't pass, but he wasn't getting destroyed by somebody running him over at lap 5, and then he has to struggle all night long just to finish the race. So I'm glad that it turned out the way it did. And you said it, one of the longest runs I think we had all season long. It was 130 laps.
I think it was, and these drivers did an excellent job. 7 different winners to cap off this season, and if you're looking for more from the Misfit Racing League, don't miss the All-American Esports 400 coming up on November 1st and 2nd. There's still time to register. Over $2,000 in payouts at a 2-night event. It is going to be amazing. It's going to be awesome. It's all right here with Misfit Racing Leagues, and it's all going to be brought to you right here on V-Speed. You can catch on to any more things from the Misfit Racing League as a registration for the Misfit Touring Series will be opening on October 1st next week, and that season will officially start on November 8th at Five Flags Speedway. And if you're not interested in short track racing, well, I don't know what you've been doing watching tonight, but I'm glad you're here. You can check out any of our other leagues here on V-Speed. We've got tons of racing all throughout the week. If you ever have nothing to watch throughout real life racing, there's always racing here on V-Speed. I've been blessed to be joined by Bradley Cooper, my colleague in the booth this evening, as well as in production. My name is Scott Shive. Congratulations to our winner, Kyle Turzak, and the champion of the Hyper Summer Series, Corey Bodie. We'll see you next time.